and welcome to our next stop on our track guide, in-depth track guide tour. And this time we're at the Shanghai International Circuit in China, and this is one of my favorite tracks. It's a technical track, very technical track, and if you can get a lot of the turns right here, then there is a lot of time to be found, especially in turns 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3 you can lose a lot of time on, so it's important to take as much speed in there as possible, but trying to stay as tight in as possible as well at the same time. And it's always a very, very tricky balance on turns 1, 2 and 3. So just like my other videos, let's break down the entire lap and look at each of the braking points, turning zones, gearing, etc, etc, to help you on your way to fast laps and times in China. So we're just coming up to the start-finish straight now, and we're coming up to the final left-hander here. The way to take this left-hander is important because you need to be carrying as much speed through here as possible, ready for the pit straight. So what I like to do, let's go forward a little bit, is I'm looking for this Rolex bridge here. And just after the Rolex bridge is where I'm going to start braking, and look how far to the right I am already. I'm on the curb. So I'm on the curb on the right hand side, ready for that left-hander. And just as I've passed under the bridge, you can see that I've now geared down to 5th and geared down to 4th by the time that I've reached the DRS line that you can see there, the first DRS line. And I've started my turn in now, even though I can't see the turn yet. This is another one of those turns that you need to anticipate, and you need to be hitting that inside curb as much as possible. I do take quite a bit of the inside curb here, but I'm down to 113, 10, 9, 7, 6, 5. So I'm down to about 103, 102 miles per hour there. And you can see that I have been a little bit naughty. I have taken a lot of the curb there. In fact, I've taken a lot of the curb there, but I'm still managing to keep it as a valid lap. So you can get away with taking that much curb and trying to get it as straight as possible onto the straight here. So I've not gone under 102, 103 miles per hour. And as soon as I've passed that curb, I can then start to get back on the accelerator, get over to this curb on the right hand side here. And I'm now on the start-finish straight. So let's go down, DRS on, let's go down to turns 1, 2 and 3. So I'm going to stop it right there. What I'm looking for at turn 1 here is that 50 metre mark, that 50 metre board that you can see here. So you can see I'm coming up to the 50 metre board and I'm still in 8th gear. So I'm trying to carry as much speed as possible into the first part of turn 1 here. And you can see now that I'm starting to angle my car to that inside curb on the right hand side. So I'm going to come in to here. I'm still on the accelerator and I'm starting to ease off now. So you can see my speed has started to come down. So if you look at my speedo on my steering wheel, you can see that I'm at 205 miles per hour there. And I'm starting to ease off now. So I've just come off the accelerator. I'm not braking much. And I'm coming down to about 140. And then I'm into 5th gear as I come to the first part of turn 1 here. You can see that I'm hugging the inside as much as possible. Because what it will do is I'm going to get spat out now to the left-hand side. And then what I'm looking for here is I'm trail braking all the way around this particular area here now so that I can stay as tight as possible. You can see that I've geared down to 4th. Now, I use some visual aids to help me with my gearing for this particular section. So you can see on the left-hand side, you've got orange bollards that are there. So you've got one that's by a crane, and you've got one that's kind of in front of us here as well. So I use these orange bollards to help me with my gearing down and slowing down, ready for the second turn and making sure that I hit the apex of turn 2. So I'm going to come past that first orange barrier on the left hand side, And you can see that I've geared down to 4th now. So the car's starting to slow down. I'm still turning right. Notice that I'm still turning right. I've not straightened up the car at all. I'm then coming round to the next bits of turn 1. I'm looking at that orange barrier now on the left there. As soon as I see that and past that, you'll see then I've gone down to 3rd gear. So I'm about halfway, 3/4 the way round now to 1. And then I've got my final orange barrier right in front of me there. And that's my next target to get down to 2nd gear for turn 2. So I'm going to just come out wide slightly and come into about the middle of the track here. There's my orange barrier now on the left hand side, and there you go, I'm in 2nd gear. What that enables me to do then is stay tight coming in, and I can hit that curb coming in to the 2nd turn. I can then straighten up the car quicker. You can see there that I'm pretty much in the middle of the road there, and I can now see the apex of turn 3, which I've now started turning in for at 2nd gear. So again, I'm going to take as tight a line through here as possible, and you'll notice now that as soon as I pass that apex, I've started straightening up the car already. So I can't even see the exit of turn 3 yet. I'm heading towards that curb that's in front of me for best acceleration and best traction out of that particular turn. You take it too tight, you're going to lose time. So come out here and come wide. So I'm going to short shift up to 3rd gear, and you can see now that I'm starting to exit this particular turn, and I can start accelerating away. So let's get down to the next turn. So staying on the right hand side, I'm coming down here, and my next braking points will be our trusty 100-meter board that you can see in front of you. So we do have a slight downhill braking zone here as well, so you need to be careful on the brakes coming in here. But I'm going to get as far to the left as possible, and I'm going to start braking at that 100-meter board. And you can see that I'm pretty much, if we change camera angle, not quite on the curb. I could probably have took a bit of a wider line there, to be honest. But I'm far enough across. I'm going to brake down and trail braking all the way down to 2nd gear. Here we go, and I'm now aiming for the apex of this particular turn. I'm going to take it as tight as possible. You need to be extremely patient on this particular turn coming out of it, because it is a slow right-hander. A lot of time can be gained through here if you get it right. So I've ridden the curb a little bit there. I'm coming out to the left-hand side here, straighten up the wheel. As soon as I straighten up, there we go. I've short shifted up to 3rd for my good traction, and I can now come down to the S's coming up next. So on the S's, I'm going to come over to the right-hand side. Again, I'm taking as wide a line as possible into this particular turn, and I'm going to take it with as much speed as possible. I've seen people gear up to 7th on this, but I'm coming wide, and then I'm going to start coming in. Again, it's anticipating that particular corner, hugging in on the inside as much as possible. I stayed in 6th all the way through this turn. Didn't quite hit the inside and didn't quite hug that curve as much, but I'm still in a good enough position to be in the middle of the road for the next right-hander, where you'll enter it in 5th gear. You will need to do a little bit of braking here. You'll enter it in 5th gear, and then as you're coming round, you'll come down to 4th, so you can hug that right-hand side and stay as close to that curb as possible. Reason being is that as soon as you've exited out of this particular turn, you do need to be as far to the right again as possible. I did drift out to the left, so I've compensated for that by coming back over to the right, soft braking down to 3rd, and it's another one of these I need to anticipate this turn. So I've started turning in already, even though I couldn't quite see the apex, and you can see, because I took that early turn in, I'm now actually riding that particular curb, and I am hitting that apex. Try and be as straight as possible out of here, because then you can use this curb that's on the right hand side to straighten up the car, and then you can start accelerating out of here, hit the apex on the inside here as well, accelerating out of here, hitting that curb on the right, so you can accelerate down to the next turn here. So again, down here, all the way over to the right as far as I can. Let's have a look. You can't really see it from that angle. But all the way down to the right hand side here. And again, it's that 100-meter board that you're looking out for. So once again, I've just passed the 100-meter board and I've now started to brake. So again, trail braking, gearing down to second gear here, staying as far to the right as possible. As soon as I've hit second, I've started my turn in, and you can see now that I'm now hitting that inside apex on the left hand side. And then what you want to be doing is trying to stay as far to the right as possible, ready for the next apex. If you come over to the left of this, there is a bit of undulation in the road there, and it could spin you out. So you do want to be trying to stay as close to the right hand side as possible. And you can see that before I've actually hit that turn, I've actually geared up to third. So the reason being is that when I've actually come out of this turn and I start to come out to the left hand side, I've got my best traction to be able to start accelerating around this long right hander, this long sweeping right hander. So I will come out to the left hand curb here. I can start to straighten out the car, and then as soon as I've hit there, I'm going to use as little right hand turn as possible as I'm starting to slowly add to the accelerator as I'm coming around this turn. If you put on too much gas coming around this next right hander, you are going to spin out, because the exit out of this particular turn is quite bumpy. So you can see here that I'm still turning in. I'm trying to use as minimal turn as possible for best acceleration. I'm trying to stay as close to that inside curve as possible on the first part. I've geared up to fifth there. Then we're going to gear up to sixth. And you can see now that really around about, if I just rewind it slightly, once I'm about halfway around here, so once I'm probably about here, I can probably get full on the gas at this particular point, so that I can then go down to the long straight before the nice tight hairpin, or right hand tight hairpin. So let's come down the long straight here, DRS open, if you're doing a quali lap or you're doing it on time trial. And my next braking point is going to be here. So let's just stop it there. Okay, so like in Bahrain, what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for the start of that curb. So it's just before that 100-meter board. Now I've tried several different ways of doing this. I've tried braking before the curb. I've tried braking at the curb when the curb starts. I've also tried braking at the 100-meter board. I found that if I broke at the 100-meter board, I'm going to come into that right-hand hairpin a bit too deep. So I found a nice comfortable braking zone for me is just as that left-hand curb starts. It's minimal distance between that and the 100-meter board, but it does make a lot of difference into your entry and exit for the sharp right-hand hairpin. So I'm going to look at that curve, and you can see already that I started to brake, and I'm going to quick shift down and trail brake down to fifth, fourth. So I'm at fourth gear by the time that I've hit the 50-meter board, still as far to the left as possible, down to third. And then you can take this in second gear. Now, if you don't think that you're going to hit that apex on the inside here, get down to first so that you can help with the car turning. You can see that I do ride the curb on the inside here, but what I am able to do is I'm then able to straighten up the car quicker on this left-hand curb here. So do use the whole track for this particular area. That's what that curb is there for. That's what it's designed for. I can then start to straighten up the car here, and I can then start to then short shift to get my traction and my acceleration going. I'm now straightening up the car, and you can see that I'm now accelerating round to the final turn here. Now I did, and this is why I wanted to show you my entrance into this particular turn at the beginning of the lap, because I did fluff it a little bit on this lap. But again, you can see right hand side here, under the bridge, down to fourth, and I did take it a little too early here, so I did have to correct myself. So you can see that I straightened up my wheel, so I did have to correct myself. I did lose a little bit of time there, but you can see that if you do hit it right, like you could see at the beginning of the lap, you can get a lot of speed out of there. In fact, you can see that I was about 120 miles an hour or so sorry, about 100 and something miles an hour, 104, 105 miles an hour coming into there. I did take a little bit more speed through there, but I did have to straighten up the car, otherwise I would have missed the apex. So you can see the two different ways of one getting it right and one not quite getting it so right. And you can see that I did ride the curb a bit too much on that right hand side there, which then compromised my exit acceleration with the DRS zone. So there we go, there's the breakdown for that particular lap. So again, like we did with previous sessions, let's rewind the tape and let's take this particular lap at full speed. Okay, so here we go then. Coming into left-hander, take as much speed as possible through to 4th, 5th, 6th. So you can see I've got good acceleration down this pit straight now. And I'm looking for the 50 metre board on the inside, soft braking down to 6th, 5th, first orange board, 4th, 2nd, 3rd, 3rd orange board down to 2nd, nice and tight on the inside for both turns 2 and 3. Short shifting, acceleration out of turn 3, hitting that right hand curve there, staying to the right, drifting to the left, 100 metre board, braking down to 2nd gear, inside curve, back out, short shifting as much as possible, and then staying in 6th, coming round to the left there, sweeping there, soft braking down to 5th and then 4th as you're coming round that particular turn, soft braking down to 3rd, hitting that inside curve on the left hand side, straighten up the car, accelerate round that particular turn, coming down this small straight here, looking for the 100 metre board, braking down to 2nd, hitting that inside again, down up to 3rd, come round to the outside there, accelerating all the way around, trying to keep the wheel as little right-hander as possible, and then accelerating up to the DRS line. And now I'm looking for the start of the curve just before the 100 metre board for my tight turn here. Quick brake, quick gearing and braking down to 2nd, use that curve on the left-hand side, accelerate out, just under the bridge again, down to 4th, and then accelerate out through here, DRS open, and the lap is done. So hopefully you found that particular tutorial useful. If you liked it, if you like the breakdown and the way that it happens, please do put some comments in below so you can see some more of my track guides. Please do subscribe to me, and I do also upload live streams of my career races on F1 2019 to YouTube from my recordings and streams off my Twitch channel. So until next time, thank you very much for watching and see you soon.